Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. So a few days ago I made a tutorial for exporting to Ubuntu with GameMaker, but now I'm going to do a similar tutorial for Xubuntu, a more lightweight fork of Ubuntu. Let's get started. Alright, so we are going to be following the official Yo-Yo Games guide, with a few changes, especially to the packages we install and what we did last time with turning off a certain restriction, and we're going to make that more permanent this time. There's also this right here, which has some packages that you may need if you're having trouble with your game, but these also seem to be installed on Xubuntu just like in our last tutorial. So you're going to want to head to xubuntu.org, and you're going to want to go to either download or get Xubuntu. Now the first few downloads that pop up are torrent downloads. If you don't know how to use torrents, then you're going to want to go down below to where it says mirror downloads. Go ahead and select a location closest to you, and this is going to be the mirror that you download from. I'm going to go United States, and then you're going to want to choose this ISO file right here, the Xubuntu 24.04.1 desktop AMD 64. It's going to prompt you to download it, and next we're going to need VirtualBox. VirtualBox has changed their website since our last tutorial, but it's still pretty much the same. You can either download on the start page or there's a download button right there. And now right here we're going to go to Windows Hosts, and it should just fetch the most recent version for you. And again, I already have it, so I am not going to download it again. Alright, so once you have those downloaded, go ahead and run the VirtualBox installer. It is going to bring up a window that looks like this. Go ahead and click Next, and then Next again. It's going to warn you that your internet connection may drop out temporarily. Go ahead and proceed, and then it may install this missing dependency, the Python core / Win32 API. Hit yes, and then I would go ahead and leave all these check marked, especially the register file associations. Just go ahead and leave all that check marked. Hit next, and then install. And after a little while, it should be installed. Go ahead and click finish, and it should just open right up unless you deselected that. Let's close our file manager. And now this is what it should look like. I am going to create a new VM, but I want to warn you, there's both a basic and expert mode to VirtualBox. I apparently was in expert mode in the last tutorial, so I'm going to switch to basic. It's not going to change much except for just the appearance of a few things. Let's go ahead and create a new virtual machine. I'm going to make this my new Xubuntu machine, so I'm going to call it GM Xubuntu. And then you're going to want to select your ISO image. Just go to Other, and then find where that is downloaded, and click Enter. And now make sure you have Skip Unattended Installation checkmarked. This is going to set up some things for you. You would fill it in on the next page. However, it does not make you a root or a sudo user. Sudo meaning super user do. So it does not make you a root or super user. Alright, so let's just go ahead and click Next. Now, Xubuntu is fairly lightweight, so you're not going to want to allocate much RAM to it, because you don't really need to. Like last time, go ahead, type in 1024, and then just multiply by how many gigabytes you want. I'm going to go 4 gigabytes. I could go 8 like I did last time, but it's a more lightweight operating system. Now for processors, these are how many cores you have with your CPU. If you have a dual core, I don't know why you would in 2024, but some people may, especially if maybe you're on a laptop or something. Go ahead and just keep it at 1 CPU. If you have 4 cores, go ahead and bump it up to 2. If you have more than that, I'm just going to bump it up to 4 CPU cores. Go ahead and hit Next. We're going to create a virtual hard disk. Now, Xubuntu does not take up a whole lot of space. I'm just going to go 20 gigabytes. Even Ubuntu doesn't take up a lot of space, but it's going to allow the virtual machine to have all this space, so if it ever needs it, it can use it. If you tick mark pre-allocate full size, yeah, it is going to take up 20 gigabytes, but just leave that blank. It doesn't need ticked. Go ahead and click next, and now it's going to go over a little summary, and go ahead and click finish. But we're not done yet. We are going to right click and go to settings, or you can just have it selected, go to settings up here, go into network, and under this adapter 1, switch that to bridged adapter. Now I did restart my VM, and it did switch this back to NAT, so if you are having any problems whatsoever with internet or with GameMaker, make sure you have bridged adapter. And then I am going to allow us to have 64 megabytes of video memory. This is not required, only the networking settings are required, but I'm just going to let it have free reign of what it may need for video memory. Also, I would make sure that in version, it has Xubuntu 64-bit selected. Usually, virtual machine, VirtualBox is pretty smart about this, but just make sure it is selected right now. Click OK, and we should be ready to start. Here we can just maximize this. You can close this tooltip right there by pressing the little text bubble. And right here we're going to get to grub. Go ahead and just, should be the first option selected, try or install Xubuntu. Alright, so we had a few issues, but it seems to be working now. If you have a few issues, just power off the machine and then just check your settings, make sure everything is a-okay, and you should be good to restart the virtual machine, and hopefully that time it'll work. Alright, so we are currently on the Xubuntu desktop. So you may see little spinning wheels up here. So what you're going to want to do if this happens is you're going to want to disable networking, go into VirtualBox, go to settings, down to network. You may need to be in expert mode. Yeah, you'll need to be in expert mode for this. Uncheck cable connected, hit OK. Now let's go back into VirtualBox, back into network, cable connected, OK. And then let's try it again. And connection established. Let's just go ahead and run this install Xubuntu program. It's going to bring up everything. It's going to be a lot like the Ubuntu install. Go ahead and click next for your language. Whatever language you want, just pick it. Next. Use wired connection. If it does not let you do this, it's probably because you're not connected to the internet. Go next. Let's go interactive installation. And then you could go Xubuntu minimal. However, that does not come with a web browser. I believe there is an option to use a Debian built-in browser, but it would not work for me. So go ahead and choose Xubuntu Desktop. You're going to get some bloat, some extra programs, but still, Xubuntu is pretty small. And you will get some fun games. You can even play these while it installs. So let's just keep it at desktop. It's going to give us our browser. Real easy to copy-paste. Checkmark install third-party software. I don't recommend checkmarking this one down here. Just go ahead, when it says how do you want to install, erase disk and install Xubuntu. It's not going to affect your system in any way. Alright, so let's create our Xubuntu account. My name is Micah. I'm going to call my computer VBox. And let's set our password to VM. And you could uncheckmark this, but it always seems to turn right back on. So just keep it checked. Select your time zone. I'm in the New York time zone. And now it should just show you all your choices and you are ready to hit install. It's going to take a little bit and I am just going to cut to once this is done. Alright, so our installation is complete. Let's go ahead and click restart. Now it is just going to get to this page right here, so go ahead and click X, power off the machine, and let's just start it up again. Alright, let's go ahead, let's open up our web browser. As you can see, this privacy page loaded, so we know we have internet. Let's just pull up the GameMaker Ubuntu tutorial. Setting up for Ubuntu. Alright, but what we should have done first is let's just up our screen size. So, in Xubuntu, the desktop interface is called XFCE. So pretty much settings are inside the taskbar itself. Let's go to display, and let's just up our resolution. 1920 by 1080, apply. Keep this config. Let's expand our web browser a bit. Let's also open up our terminal. And we'll make this a little bit bigger. Zoom in. That should be good. Alright. So, let us get right into the tutorial. Now, first thing we want to do, sudo apt-get update. It's going to ask for our password since it's a sudo command. Alright, there we go. And now we can just start installing packages. Now, when you copy paste commands into Linux, we're going to be copy pasting a few down the line. You want to right click in order to pull up the menu and then just paste that way. Control C, Control V, all of that, it works a little differently in Linux. And so the first package would be Build Essential. Let's go ahead and run that right here just to see that Build Essential is already the newest version. Wow. So we already have that installed. Thank you, Xubuntu. And there's going to be a few packages like that. So let's just go ahead and start with the next one, which is going to be open SSH-server. Go ahead and hit Y and enter to continue. Alright, and now we can just move on. The next package we're going to want is Clang. This one may take a little bit. Just depends on your internet connection. Earlier today for me, it took quite a long time. Okay, so this next set of packages are what I like to call the lib packages, because they all start with lib. So the first one is libssl-dev. Alright, that is installed. The next one we're going to install is libxrandr-dev. Then the next one after that is going to be libxxf86vm-dev. The next one is going to be libopenal-dev. Next, these ones can get a little confusing since they're so similar in name. It's going to be libgl1-mesa-dev. Then the next one is going to be libglu or glue1-mesa-dev. And now we are done with all the lib packages. We are going to install another package called zlib1g-dev. And then we are going to get libcurl4, not 54, 4-openssl-dev. Then we are going to get ffmpeg. Now the next one, libfuse2, and the last two, nproc and pulse audio, are already installed. In fact, that one blog post I pulled up with the two packages that should be installed are also installed on this installation. So, the very last command we need, the very last package, is going to be curl, if I could spell correctly. Alright, now you might say we already installed curl. Well, we installed the library libcurl4, but we actually need curl itself. Now, let's go on down here. We now need to bypass these security restrictions. Now, there is a way to do this. Just follow along with me, it's pretty easy. You could just copy and paste this, that's going to disable it one time, but we want to do this permanently. So every Linux distro should have a command line text editor. For Debian systems, I believe it is Nano, and so that is installed on Xubuntu. So we're going to type in sudo nano, can't type today, -w for write, and then we see there's a little path right here, /etc/sysctl.conf. So we are going to type that in here, /etc/sysctl.conf. Here we go, we are in Nano. In the text file right here, we're going to scroll down to the very end. And now this command right here, you're going to see it's pretty much the third argument in this sudo command. So we're going to copy it. We are going to paste it. Use Control S to save. And then Control X to exit. And now we need to permanently disable it. So let's just go sudo systemctl disable, and what we're going to disable is called AppArmor. Let's clear that. Now you could type in sysctl-system and just restart the systemctl, but we actually need to reboot the system after completely disabling it. So let's just do shutdown -r, and then now that's going to reboot the system. Okay, there we go. We have rebooted. Type in our password. Alright, let's just open up that web browser again, and we should just be able to restore our last session. Yep, there we go. Alright, so I believe after that restart, AppArmor is disabled. But let's just go ahead with the tutorial as is. So next, we need to get our Steam runtimes, our Steam tools. So let's go sudo mkdir, make dir, and we're going to create /opt/steam-runtime. Now, OPT is already a little area or folder in the file system. We are creating another folder called Steam Runtime. Put a slash at the end of that, hit enter, and clear. Now we're going to copy this curl command right here. Let's paste it in. And let's run it. And now this is going to take a little while. Usually about 5, 6, maybe a little more minutes. You have a real slow internet connection, it's going to take quite a bit like it did for me earlier. But I will cut until this has installed. Alright, so our Steam runtimes have installed. If you want, let's open the new tab. Let's cd to /opt/steam-runtimes. Runtime, sorry. Type in ls to list, and you're going to see, yep, we have some stuff in there. Alright, let's clear our console and get ready for the next few packages we want. First, let's get Linux deploy. Copy and paste that bad boy into the terminal. Alright, so we've downloaded Linux deploy, but we need to install it. Let's just paste that in right there. And it should be all installed. We're going to do the same thing for app image. Paste that in right there. Then we're going to run the install command. And clear. Let's also go into another tab and cd to /usr/local/bin/. We're going to ls that, and we're going to see both app image and Linux deploy are in there. Now, we should be all ready to set up with GameMaker. But first, let's type in IP ADDR. That is going to fetch us our IP address right here. And let's open up GameMaker. Alright, so once we're in GameMaker, you can go over here, go into Game Options, and set up some of your parameters or what have you for Ubuntu. But you're going to want to go up here. You're going to want to, it'll probably be GX Games or Windows selected. Going to want to head to Ubuntu. Make sure output is on GMS2 YYC. VM is just running interpreted code. This is what you run while developing your game. It allows you to go into debug mode, debug a few things. It's interpreted. It is a little slower while being better for development, but YYC is just going to be fully compiled. So have that selected. Go into device. Let's remove our little test device right here. Add a new device. Display name, you can call this whatever you want. I'm going to call it GM X Ubuntu. Host name is going to be our IP address. So 192.168.1.141. That is our IP. Our username is what we filled out in the beginning, Micah, and then our password, VM. Show your password right there and hit test connection. And it's going to say connection successful. Now you can go ahead, save all that, and you can build your game right now. I didn't mention this in the last tutorial, but it's always, you know, not a bad idea to click clean. It's just going to clean up some of your build. There could be a few things in the cache that when compiled, it will completely mess up your game. It's happened to me a few times. Your game does not look pretty, and you're going to wonder, why is everything messed up? One little issue, good thing I caught this, if you have a device in here already, make sure you switch it to your new device, the Xubuntu device. That's why our clean did not work. Let's just do that again. Cleaning complete, and let's hit run. And boom, entering main loop. Let's open up our VM, and here we have it. We can go into some of these menus. We could play the game. Yeah, it's not gonna run the best, but it works. It's up and it's running. We can go ahead, we can close some of these. We don't need them. Now, say you want to build the game. Well, you can press this button right here, create executable, or go to build, create executable, and now it's just gonna pull up this page. I went into a folder I have called game builds, and then this specific folder I have in that. I'm just going to call this Xubuntu right here. It's going to save it as a .app image file. Let's hit save. Boom, we have this right down here in the console, and now we have it right here in our file explorer. And you have just created a build of your game that will work on just about any Linux system. I believe all Linux systems, but there could be that one exception out there. Alright everyone, so I hope this tutorial, like my last, helped you export your game to the Linux platform. Stay tuned because I plan on making a few more tutorials, I guess. I'm looking into allowing you to set up a custom icon and maybe even an installer for your game, but you can take the app image package, upload it online like to itch.io or something, and people can download and run the game. Now, linked down below is going to be my last video, and there is a timestamp that is going to take you to how you can actually run this app image on a Linux system, and just leave some of those install instructions in your game's description or whatever method you use to tell your players how to run this on Linux, because there is a little catch to it. But just for the sake of brevity, that video is going to be down in the description. Just watch it. It's going to have the timestamp for you, and you can distribute your game. So thank you all so much for watching. This tutorial sure was something, a few hiccups along the way. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and all that YouTube stuff. I'll see you next time.